Hi everyone, so I'm going over a few problems that you asked me to while I'm out of town from section 9.4, page 347 in your textbook. All right, so the first question that Molly asked me to do was number 9 on page 347. You were given some information. You were given that AB was 18, so this segment right here was 18, and you were given that OM was 12, and you were given ON was 10, and you were trying to find the length of, let me put this one in red, you're trying to find the length of CD. Well, because OM and ON are not the same length, you know that CD and AB are not the same length, so it can't be 18. But what you do know is that if a radius is perpendicular to a chord like it is here and creates this 90-degree angle, that it bisects the chord. So that makes this 9 and this 9. So that means, guys, that this is one of those problems where I can use the radius and the Pythagorean theorem to help me. So I'm going to actually draw a radius from the center to the end. So now I have this nice right triangle with the side 9 and 12, and I'd like to find the radius. So I'm going to do 9 squared plus 12 squared equals r squared. So you get 81 plus 144 equals r squared. Some of you may have noticed the Pythagorean triple, but in case you didn't, you get 225 equals r squared, and so r equals 15. So yes, it's a 3, 4, 5. It's a 9, 12, 15 triangle because it's 3, 4, 5 all multiplied by 3. All right, so I now have a radius of 15. So now I go to the other triangle that I can draw, which is right here. So I can draw that radius. I know now that it's 15, and so I can actually find part of the chord I'm looking for. I'm going to call that y, okay? So now I'm going to do 10 squared plus y squared equals 15 squared. 10 squared is 100, plus y squared is 225. I subtract 100 from both sides, and I get y squared equals 225. And then I take the square root of both sides. So y works out to be 15. I did something wrong. I'm sorry, it's not 225. It's right here. It's 225 minus 100 is 125. I caught myself there. Good. Okay, so 125. And now I have to simplify 125. So I know that that is 25, root 25 times root 5, which gives me that y is equal to 5 root 5. So I know this segment right here is 5 root 5. And since this is a perpendicular, this is a right angle, I know this is being bisected. So that means that I double that to get the length of CD, which would be 10 root 5. And there's the answer to your question. Very similar to one that I did on the homework video, 9.4, may well be well worth going back to look at that. All right, let's look at the next one. It says sketch 2 non-congruent chords. This is number 10. Okay, number 10. Sketch 2 non-congruent chords. Is the larger closer to the center or farther from the center? So I'm going to draw a circle, and I'm going to draw 2 non-congruent chords. So I'm going to put a chord, say, here, and I'll put the center right here, and one right here. And as you can see from drawing that the larger chord, the longer chord, is actually closer to the center of the circle. Why is it closer to the center? Because as the circle gets closer to the center, it gets to its widest point. As it gets farther away from the center, it gets smaller and smaller. But you really had to draw that to see it. All right, and then the next question is number 12. It says, sketch a circle Q. So I'm going to go ahead and sketch circle Q. And when I do that, I'm going to go ahead and put a dot in the middle and call it Q. So I'm going to put the label Q. It says sketch a chord, RS, that is 16 centimeters long. And remember, I said the best place to do that is right across the bottom. And I'm going to say that it's 16. Actually, let me put that 16 in a different place. I'm going to put it under it so I don't get confused. And 2 centimeters from Q. So that chord is 2 centimeters from Q, which means the perpendicular segment, because that's the shortest distance from a point to a line. All right, it wants us to find the radius. So again, we're going to take the center, we're going to connect the center to the end of the chord, creating a right triangle. We know that 16 is being bisected, so now I have a right triangle with sides 2 and 8, and I'm going to find the radius by using the Pythagorean Theorem. 2 squared plus 8 squared equals r squared. So 4 plus 64 equals r squared, so 68 equals r squared. Now, we do want to take the square root of both sides, and then I know that 4 goes into 68, okay? So 4 goes into 68, what is that? 17 times? Yeah. So 17 times. So r equals 2 root 17, and that would be my radius. So the radius would be 2 root 17. All right, guys, there's a great review of those problems you asked me about. Hope you have a great day.